Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
We need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country.
Have blacks been pitted against Asians?
We need the black community to realize that that black people are hurting Asians, and they need to speak out in their own community.
A California man has been sentenced to life in prison after baneful wounding of a Plainview man 93 times. On Halloween in 2020, Alexander Toichi Duberek reportedly traveled from San Diego to Lubbock on his way to see his boyfriend who lived in Plainview. After arriving at the Preston Smith Airport that evening, the 25-year-old told authorities he took a cab to the local Sam's Club parking lot where he purchased a car for $3,000. He then drove to Walmart to buy a knife, a hatchet, a gas can, a collapsible shovel, a headlamp, a change of clothes, new boots, personal hygiene items, and a first aid kit. Duberek then drove to Plainview to see his 30-year-old partner. He reportedly told his boyfriend's family that he would be taking him out for dinner. He also stated he had gotten a hotel room for the two to spend the night together. That night, Duberek drove his boyfriend out to Aurora Farm Road, where he stabbed him 93 times, according to a release. After the killing, Duberek drove to Houston, where he sold his vehicle to someone outside an auto auction, according to a release. Investigators later searched the car and found blood in the backseat. The DNA matched the victim. Police were searching for Duberek for 5 months before he turned himself into San Diego authorities in March of 2021. While being questioned, police noticed a tattoo of a person's name on his ring finger. He stated it was the name of a man he had killed. This defendant looked his boyfriend's family in the eyes and described the date night he had planned for the two of them. But instead of providing a romantic evening, he carried out a sadistic, premeditated plan to take the life of a 30-year-old man and callously dispose of his body. I cannot imagine the horror for this victim and his family. We are proud to bring this killer to justice.
These are not reporting these incidences. We don't want to cause more trouble, more attention to our community.
Ain't this what they call it? I can't think of it. What is this called? Ain't it called like a model minority? Ain't that what they call it? Now I'm just trying to figure out what specifically took place for the reason why this model minority, the citizen of the United States, would feel as though that his life was in such danger that he had to react in this type of way. Whenever I read through the stories through both articles before and after, I can't spot anything. Both articles say the same thing. It was a setup. The model minority decided that he wanted to quote unquote see his boyfriend, who was 30, and for whatever reason, they still have not given the name or picture, of the boyfriend during the time. But so the 23-year-old decided to go up there, go see him, whoop de whoop. And lo and behold, he decides that he wants to go to the hardware store. Sounds like some Jesse Smollett, type of deals, right? Decided to, bob the builder some stuff together, and then proceeds to basically go and pick up his boyfriend, and supposedly going to take him out on a dinner and a date, and they got a hotel room, but he ends up going off of this offshoot, this back road somewhere. Next to the Hills Have Eyes, and part of the way down the road, you got Crystal Lake. So he decided to, in a sense, stop up there because he felt that that was a good place to do a ritual. And he proceeded to commence the starting of that ritual about 93 or what. Well, I'm just going to round it off to like 100 times, right? And then he then went from doing that to then selling the car to a random person. How it is that he was just able to randomly find a person to sell this car to within that amount of time that he committed that act is beyond me. But I guess he did this on Craigslist or eBay somewhere. Completely crazy. He got a car for $3K, and then he committed his action, and then he sold his car for whatever amount of money. And then after that, police were pretty much looking for him for about 5 months up until he turned himself in. So you mean to tell me that the last person that in a sense saw him, it raised no red flags to any families out there that, yo, this is the person that did it? So none of the families knew who each of the guys basically were. None of the friends knew who both of the guys were. Nobody told anybody specifically, like the 30-year-old didn't tell no friends what was going on, where he was going to, like, all of, like, this, what is happening out here? What is going on out here? Like, I'm a little bit baffled and confused as to why it is and how it is possible that people are not letting other people know their whereabouts. Like I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like this is how these things are able to happen, able to transpire, and how people are able to, get away for, eons. Some of these cases were cold. Pretty much his case was cold for about 5 months up until the model minority decided to quote unquote do the right thing and turn himself in. And then he basically sat there and just admitted to what was going on. So my question is, while he was out for 5 months doing Jeffrey Dahmer stuff, what else was he doing? Who else did he have connections to? Who else was he potentially seeing? And who else is also potentially missing? Because it's great that he turned himself in, but he only turned himself in for just that one thing that he got caught for. How calm that he was speaking, the way that they explained it, that in a sense there were no emotions or anything like that. He was just nonchalant about it. This means that he is comfortable. This means that more than likely he has done this before. They just don't know about it. So, like I said, he turned himself in on this, but what about the other things that he's more than likely done? Like I said, this needs to be directly looked into. And there are two specific communities that I find, very weird how they don't want to talk about this. One is the Asian community. Where y'all at? This is one of y'all's. Why y'all not talking about y'all? Oh, I forgot. I played the clip last time. They said that we don't want to talk about these incidences due to the fact that we don't want to bring any type of unnecessary attention in the spotlight directly to our community. Okay, so I get that. You're going to hide your own people. And if they do any types of crimes or anything, you're going to sweep that under the rug. It is what it is. It's going to be in the house. I got you. I got you. No problem. No problem. So last but not least, that means where is the alphabet community? Where are y'all at? Because last time I checked, I ain't seen no stories about this on social media. Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right. It wasn't by a straight male, and it didn't happen by way of a black. I forgot. I forgot. Oh my goodness, I forgot the rules. I forgot the rules. So, which means that the only time that the alphabet community actually care about their own people losing their lives is if it's by the hands of a straight black man. I forgot. I forgot. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I've been doing this for so long that, I actually thought that logic would show up, and if people actually cared about another human being, then they would actually care about another human being. But I forgot there's stipulations to caring. And you have to put a certain type of face or a race directly to it in order for people to care. But when it comes to somebody else who is a model minority that's trying to match in, trying to fit in, if they happen to do it, it's whatever it is. It's whatever it is. Like I said, at the end of the day, a lot of people don't care about the people that they say that they actually care about. They only care, if it comes down to money, when it comes down to fame, when it comes down to notoriety, when it comes down to a lot of those groups that just so happen to get, a lot of that money, a lot of that funding, right, for everybody. And then they don't do anything for those people, right? So this is my thing, right? So if certain groups out here like the alphabet community, if they have groups, a congregation, whatever it is, that get money right from everybody, people just donate to these groups, yada yada yada. The same thing that people said about certain black groups, right? So if people donate to these alphabet groups, why aren't these alphabet groups, let's say, funding funeral costs, making sure that the families who ended up losing that loved one, making sure that, they'll be all right for a little bit, right? Maybe I'm thinking too deep. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, you know what? I can be 100% wrong because it is not their responsibility to give those family money, even though that person is a part of that group and they're supposed to be represented. You know what? I'm taking a little bit too deep. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was completely ignorant of me to even bring up. Nobody should ever question, what certain groups are out here doing with certain monies, even though they have laws and everything like that passed. Oh, speaking of which, I'm glad I'm sitting here looking at a black screen thinking about this. So due to the fact that this happened to one of their own, wouldn't this be considered a certain type of crime that they have regulations and laws that were just recently passed? Wouldn't that fit within those parameters? Or are we just going to call it, whatever it is? and just wipe our hands from it. I'm a little bit confused, because if we're going to say that the law applies, then it should apply to everybody, correct? But some people will sit up there and say that you can't, have a certain type of negative emotions towards your own, right? Or people that are like you when it comes to certain groups. So I guess, you know what? I guess that's strike two. Or maybe that might be strike three. I can't keep count, because, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, my condolences to the family. You lost a loved one. To the friends as well. Y'all lost loved ones. You lost somebody that you more than likely cared about. And obviously the person that was with them did not care anything about him, and decided that he wanted to do whatever it is that he wanted to do for whatever reason that he wanted to do it. So hopefully those out there that love this man enough will fight for justice, that will get the harshest penalties when, put directly on this model minority, and make sure not to allow him to escape, or to try to fraudulently say that he was defending himself, standing his ground, or try to switch it up and play victim. I'm hoping y'all there for every step of the way to make sure that this is a complete trial and nothing underhanded will take place.